Hello! Today we are here to preview another printable roll and write. We seem to be getting a lot of those.
Yeah.
And this one is...
We do like our roll and writes.
We do.
We do.
And we love roll and writes, and these are cheap to get generally.
Yeah, usually
ones.
the print and play ones are really cheap.
I mean, with roll and writes, you really don't need... Because, I mean, all you're getting is a pad of paper in general. And
everybody's
dice.
got these.
Yeah, and most people have dice.
Yep.
So this one is called Quiltable Paper Quilts.
Yep.
And this one's coming to Kickstarter soon. I don't know exact
we don't know exact time.
but it's going to be on Kickstarter. We do know that. Before we get into it, though, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell down there.
Right.
Because you don't want to miss any of these upcoming previews we might have, or any of our collection of 3,300 roughly games that we are going to be featuring.
Give or take a couple.
Hopefully reviewing the entire collection before I die. So, you can place your bets now how far we get.
Right.
Probably not going to make it all the way through. I could go belly up any day, really, honestly.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So, all right, Rob, what can you tell us about this game?
So we don't know a whole lot. Like Randy said, it's coming to Kickstarter, but there's no overall rank or rating yet. Plays 1 to 100 people. About 30 minutes, which I think is about accurate. Ages 10 to 199, according to
Board Game Geek. I'll still be able to play this in a few years.
At least this one.
Okay.
Maybe not the others, but 10 to 199. Designed by Jared Richardson. I'm assuming he also did the art, but there's no art credit given on Board Game Geek. And it will be published by Circle J Games. I'm assuming the J stands for Jared.
Possibly.
Thank you.
All right. Or it could be Jones, for Abby Jones, who did the art.
It says it up here.
It says it right there.
I am very sorry. On Board Game Geek, it does not say it, but art is by Abby Jones.
Yes.
So, there you go.
All right. So, let's talk about what you get. Well, you get a piece, printable paper. The copy, your quality is going to vary based
off of the card
paper.
stock that you use.
Yes. So this is, this is really all you're getting is a printable PDF and rules. And
it is quite colorful, though, just so you know. So that might.
If you print in color. If you print in black and white, it's not so colorful.
I think it would be difficult to play this game if you printed it in black and white, though. So, it is going to be a color hog.
So, you supply your own dice. All you need is a pair. We played with a pair each just because we all wanted to roll dice and we didn't have to pass them around. But as long as...
Because of germs.
All you really... Yeah, because we're total germaphobes. That's why I have 3 children.
That's right.
So, you're going to roll 2 dice. That's all you really need.
That's it. And a pen or pencil.
And a pen or pencil. Some kind of writing contraption.
Yeah, don't do it in blood.
I mean, you could.
You could, but it'd be messy.
It doesn't really... I guess you could use the needle point for
just the blood welling. It's just a mess.
Yeah. All right, so anyway... This has really gone morbid for a quilting game. All right, so let's talk about the theme. So this is building a quilt. So you basically... They have already pre-rendered patterns that you could try to draw, or you can draw your own. They have like a box underneath. Mm-hmm. I went the draw your own. I actually went with the bridge theme.
Except for one of them.
I forgot that it was a 6-sided die.
It doesn't matter. It's the pattern he chose.
So I ran out, so I included Rob as a jerk as one of my patterns.
One of his patterns. Rob is a jerk.
I would actually buy this quilt, and honestly, if I could get a quilt made with the
Spades, Hearts,
Diamonds, and Clubs theme, and no Trump, and then Rob as a jerk as the 6th option. So, all right. So, you can create any shape. The only thing is, I will say, the closer you can make it to the actual shape, probably the better, in the sense that it was kind of confusing transferring in my brain from their pattern to the scoring pattern to my pattern, and making sure that I was putting things in the right orientation. There's a lot of manipulation, Tetris style, that you're going to do as you're playing this. So unless you have a good sense of keeping all that together, you probably want to draw the shape as close to what is on the picture as possible. If you are able to do it, fine, go for it. Make whatever shape you want. All right, so, as far as the theme, I thought Miranda was really going to enjoy this, and,
we just started, she just got home.
She loves doing,
she loves the crochet and knit. And
well, I always call it needlepoint, but I'm always getting yelled at.
Because it's wrong.
Yes, I am not an expert on the ways of
crocheting and knitting is what she likes to do.
So, but she had to give the children baths and do whatever, so she's not part of the video, sadly. All right, so as far as this theme, I think they've incorporated it well into the gameplay. I think it's very interesting. You're basically choosing patterns. When you roll the dice, you have numbers 1 through 6 you can apply them to. So you can choose any of the patterns that the numbers correspond with to draw any space into your pattern box. Now, once it's there, you have to transfer it into your quilt, but you can transfer any adjacent spaces with one die. So I could choose multiple of my boxes here to transfer.
Which I think thematically works because if you quilt, you collect something. So you collect your patterns, and like my grandma used to quilt, and she'd have a basket full of just different pieces of cloth that she would collect, and eventually she would then make a quilt out of that. So it's kind of like the same idea. I thought that was kind of cool.
So each turn, somebody's going to roll the 2 dice, and then everybody gets to decide from the dice that were rolled how they want to spend those 2 dice. So you have to spend both of them. So one option is on the right side of the page, there is a scoring pattern.
There's a bunch of different patterns.
And you have basically numbers 1 through 6 for the different sections, and then 1 through 6 for the scoring. So you can spend both dice to activate a scoring pattern. This reminded me a lot of Point Salad, where you have basically a choice in that game of choosing a scoring mechanism or choosing things to score towards it. This works similarly in that because your patterns are going to correspond to the things you're scoring, and you want to have a goal in mind. So early on, I like to go in and try to pick the scoring things that I'm going to go for and try to get those already active.
Which kind of makes sense, but I can't think logically like that, so I had a hard time trying to figure out, do I want to unlock those and hope that I would luckily be able to get those dice to roll so then I get the right patterns and be able to put it all together? It just like my brain just it did all that. So it didn't work well for me, as we can tell when we talk about our scores at the end of the video.
So the other options, you can take the one of the dice and correspond it with the number on one of your pictures up here. So in this case, there's a 2, and I have my heart is assigned to the 2. So I could draw a heart somewhere in my area, any open space. It doesn't have to be adjacent to anything. It could be anywhere in the pattern area. So I can do that, and I could do it with both dice. I could draw the 2. In this case, it's a 5. That's where my no trump is, which I didn't end up using at all, but I had it. So I could draw that in another box. Another option is I can choose to do one of those things, because it only takes 1 die to draw a pattern, and the other one I can use to transfer some of that pattern to the bottom. Now, as I mentioned, you can only transfer if they're adjacent to one another.
Right.
So I can take a section of my thing that I have not transferred yet, because once you transfer, you have to mark it out. You can't use it again necessarily. There's a bonus action that lets you do that, but in general, you're not able to use those spaces again. So I can take a grouping of my pattern that's adjacent to one another, transfer it down, and I can rotate it in any orientation I want, but it has to go in there in the same pattern.
Right.
So it's basically as if you had stitched it together and then added that whole stitching into your pattern here. So your quilt then is going to form as you've got basically a 5x5 grid for your pattern, but a 4x4 grid for your quilt. And I think that's important because you're going to get some bad rolls that are going to come up. And
so it allows you to kind of mitigate it a little bit.
Yeah.
But if we roll like we rolled and kept rolling the same things over and over, it made it very difficult.
That was the biggest frustration to the game, I think, was the fact that the doubles kept coming up, particularly double 5s and double 3s. So we kept seeing those numbers come up. And once you've already activated it over here, and if it's not one of the things you're trying to collect, it's just taking up space. So you might have to change strategies.
You quickly ran out of space.
So, I like the adaptation of that, because there are ways to other categories that you can score. I mean, basically every possible combination of just the same symbol is on here. So you could, if you start seeing the same number coming up, you could activate that number and then transfer those and change.
And then you'll start rolling 4s or 1s or something like that.
Yeah,
so.
you never know.
Yeah.
So there is an element of luck to this, but then there's
a big element of luck, not a little.
But every die game,
just some games have more ways to mitigate.
Well, I still think this has a mitigation in the sense you can activate a different scoring pattern.
A little. I did feel this was really luck based for my feelings. So
I really enjoyed this as far as I thought. I like the fact that this one has a lot of scoring options.
It does.
And I like that. I like the fact that I can activate the ones that I think are going to be relevant to me and not activate the others. And then the other thing is, as you're filling in your quilt, if you complete rows and columns, you get bonuses based upon the columns and the rows. The column ones are free. You don't have to spend any resource or any die to get them. If you trigger a row one, though, it actually takes a die just to activate that ability. So you can activate it, but once you've activated it, you're done. You can't use it again. So some of those give you additional scoring options. Some of them let you alter the dice, which that mitigates the luck as well. Some of them will put wilds where you can add them to your pattern. And then one of the things that was basically, I didn't even think about trying to do, was you can score bonus points of 10 points at the end for having a symmetrical quilt.
Well, thematically, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, which I think makes perfect sense for quilting, but my brain could not handle that.
Yeah, my brain quit already, so to have your brain quit on that part.
Yeah, that's the part that got me. I was like, I want to do it. I really want to do it. But I got so many scoring things I'm trying to do.
Right.
I'm trying to do the transfer from their shape to my shape to, there's a lot of things you got to think about in this. So I like thinky games. I like, the heavier the roll and write, the better, in my opinion. And this one, it's easy to learn. It's one-page rules. I mean, it's not. Now, the rules, I think, probably could have had a little bit more clarity. One page is maybe not really enough, so it's not sufficient, because it doesn't give you a lot of room for examples. And we had a little confusion as we read through it.
But I thought the rules,
I think it was fine.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, and once you get playing, you can transfer. I mean, it'll make more sense.
Yeah, for sure. I think that I was a lot more comfortable with it after a couple of rolls.
Yeah,
and then once I got used to it, for sure.
So if you like the meteor type roll and write games, not the basic like the Super Mega Lucky Box
or Quicks or something,
or if you like something that's closer to Hadrian's Wall or Three Sisters, this one is not that heavy. But it has, you're still
definitely got a little bit more meat.
Yeah, you're activating more parts of your brain, I think, than what you typically do.
You have to strategize.
Because the geospatial, first the orientation, the transferring, and then trying to get it to maximize your scoring, because you can score. And then being able to
cross your fingers with one hand while rolling the dice with the other definitely takes some skill.
So, if you like geospatial puzzle games, this is going to be a good fit for you. I like Tetris games. And this has. I
think your sister would like this one a lot.
I think so too.
Yeah, his sister loves roll and writes.
Yeah, and she likes geospatial polyomino games. So I think this would be a good fit for her. So I'm probably going to recommend this one to her. You might want to check this one out. It's going to be on Kickstarter soon.
That's all we know.
So it's definitely worth a look. And I'm sure it won't cost that much. So
I don't think so. Yeah, especially if they keep it a roll and write. I mean, a print only roll and write.
Yeah, I believe it's print and play. So you can you'll get a PDF print and you can print it yourself, and you've got dice. That's all you really need. I honestly think.
And even then, you can print it, get a good laminate, and then you wouldn't even need to print it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of things in the box.
Yeah,
but print and play roll and writes just makes perfect sense.
It does,
and it's easy to get them out to people, and then they can print it however they want. They can choose to put it on best cardstock, or they can put it on a piece of paper, because it doesn't matter.
Right.
Well, that's our thoughts on quiltable paper quilts. If you get a chance to check it out, let us know what you think.
Yeah.
If you need any more information on it, you can go whenever it comes up on Kickstarter. We'll try to put the link down there so you can follow it. And we'll make sure that we get any information to you as it comes up. If you have any questions,
let us know.
Yeah, let us know. And until then, you keep on stitching and keep on watching. All right, bye.